The Valley of the Kings. For 500 years, the sacred burial place of ancient Egypt's pharaohs. In 1323 BC, another would be laid to rest here, because 19-year-old Tutankhamun was close to death, suffering from malaria and bone necrosis. Then, in this weakened state, he broke his leg. The broken bone never healed. Tutankhamun simply wasn't strong enough to survive the trauma. Chances are the wound would have become infected and he was unable to fight it off. Within a week of breaking his leg, the teenage pharaoh was dead. It was a tragically early death. Incredibly, over 3,000 years later, I can meet the boy king, because his body still lies in his tomb. And here he is, King Tutankhamun. It is astonishing that I can come face to face with a ruler who lived more than 1,000 years before Jesus Christ. There are hints of individuality here. You can see he seems to have slightly buck teeth. Perhaps I'm just fooling myself, but you get a sense of what he might have looked like in real life. He is still, after all these millennia, I think, recognizable as a real person. That's thanks to the process of mummification, a complex procedure devised by the ancient Egyptians to keep bodies looking lifelike. The process of preserving the body would have started as quickly as possible. That's partly because here in Egypt it's so hot that corpses putrefy very fast. The procedure would have begun within a few days of Tut's death and taken up to 70 days to complete. Now, extraordinarily, the materials used in the mummification process for Tutankhamun have actually been found in this valley. Raksha has been given special access to have a look at this astonishing discovery.
In 2005, just a few meters from Tut's tomb, archaeologists found a chamber. It was the first new discovery in the Valley of the Kings since 1922. No one has been into it for 10 years.
Hey, Salima. So nice to see you
Lovely
again.
to see you again. How are you?
But Professor Salima Ikram is allowing me inside.
So shall we go and explore?
Yeah. First foot on the runway. Going down.
The chamber is at the bottom of a 5-meter vertical shaft.
So was this absolutely chock full with debris then?
There was debris in the shaft, and then all of this was filled in with objects. So it was a bit like what Howard Carter found when he went into Tutankhamun's tomb, except there was no blink here.
But it's quite a small place, so a body wouldn't have been in here, would it?
Actually, no, this is, although I'm calling it a tomb, it's not. This chamber is really an embalming cache. It was filled with coffins and jars, but none of them contained a body.
But they did contain materials used in mummification, dating to the time of Tut. These items were so sacred, they were buried here in the valley.
I thought you'd like to see some of the artifacts that we found in KV63.
Amazingly, I'm getting to see them. It's the first time they've ever been filmed.
All of the things in KV63 had something to do with mummification. So basically, mummification is all about desiccation. So you cut open the body from the left side, you remove the internal organs, the lungs, the liver, the intestines, and the stomach. The heart's supposed to stay in the body. Then you wash it all out, dry it, and then you bury it in natron. And that is a naturally occurring mixture of salt and baking soda, basically, which is found in the Wadi Natrun in Egypt. There were bags and bags of natron.
Oh, look at that. So this is naturally occurring.
And it defats and desiccates. So it's just like you were, curing meat and you put it in salt. So you make these bags and you pop them into the body and it desiccates you from inside.
So it sucks all the liquid out, and then
your body is entirely buried in natron.
so I'm holding something that's been in somebody's dead body then.
Yes. Lovely, yeah. What's interesting is we think that this was tied into Tutankhamun's time period. A lot of the materials, like all the pottery jars and some of the coffins, are all about the same date. Could some of this belong to Tutankhamun? Because KV63 is really linked in to the Tutankhamun burial and time period.
It's incredible. I could be holding something used in Tut's mummification, a process that was performed in a highly unusual way.
Tutankhamun had a completely wacko mummification.
In what way?
Most people have a small embalming cut, and his is a large one, like a big slash. Some people think that maybe he died away from home unexpectedly, so they didn't have any of the embalmers, so they tried to do a quick job and then they had to redo it. So there's all kinds of stuff.
This botched mummification wasn't the only strange aspect of Tut's burial. As the pharaoh's body dehydrated, the vast array of goods that would be buried with him had to be gathered. On the 27th of December 1922, 9 weeks into his excavation, Howard Carter started removing those same items from the tomb and transporting them here to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Just like the mummification process, there are some intriguing and unexpected anomalies with some of Tutankhamun's grave goods.
All right, Dan, good to see you, mate.
You all right? Egyptologist Dr. Glenn Godegno is going to show me some of them. First, we're looking at the jars which held Tut's internal organs following their removal during his mummification. Are those supposed to look like Tutankhamun? Because they don't look like the king.
This is the point, and that would be the logical thing. You'd expect this being in Tutankhamun's tomb. It's got his name on the sides of it. You'd expect these to be a likeness of Tutankhamun. However, when we have a look at these characters, they're all similar. 4 of them originally facing each other. Very slender features, very slim lips, very high cheekbones. Not entirely what we see when we look at images of Tutankhamun. They look a whole lot more feminine. And there are lots more objects like this that don't appear to be original Tutankhamun pieces, but appear to be imported into his tomb.
There's also an inconsistency with the most important burial items of all, Tut's coffins. He was buried in 3, like a Russian doll. The innermost is made of solid gold. And amazingly, we've been allowed to remove the case. So here it's coming off.
Incredible.
Here we go. Oh my goodness. Here we go. The whole thing's coming off now.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is like nothing else I've ever seen in my life.
What an opportunity. No glass. It's incredible.
I never thought I'd be lucky enough to do this. I just never believed I'd be up this close to one of the most precious and recognisable objects in the whole of human history. So apart from just admiring it, what are you looking at as a historian, as an Egyptologist? Can it tell us?
This innermost one, the facial features agree quite well with the outermost coffin. However, the middle coffin looks slightly different. It's just over here. This is the middle coffin.
Okay.
The features appear slightly thicker than this one.
I see what
the
you're
mouth
saying.
is, if you look at, compare the mouths, they seem a little bit more downturned on this one in the corners. The eye is potentially a little bit larger as well. And as I say, the thicker features around the nose and the facial shape as well.
Yeah.
It stands out compared to the first coffin and the outer coffin, which kind of suggests that maybe it wasn't intended for Tutankhamun.
Could the face on this middle coffin be the same woman on the jars? If so, who was she?